Cam Newton in this era, of all of those types of quarterbacks, is the guy who's shown that you can succeed with it. He is the best example of that, of a one-man band on offense without being a pure pocket passer. And right now, that was a close game without a shoulder against Drew Brees. So I'm just saying, if you want to criticize a hurt Cam Newton now on an inferior team losing by a little, where's the criticism of Drew Brees, who's having an MVP season, right? Caliber season. Cam Newton absolutely deserves a pass. There is cause for great optimism about his future. I still haven't forgiven him for not jumping on that loose ball in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But other than that, he's been to a Super Bowl. He was excellent this season. His team seems to be trending in the right direction when he's healthy. Of course he deserves a pass.
I think your position on this is utterly ridiculous, and I say that respectfully. And here's the reason why I say this, Max Kellerman, because not only have you lost 6 straight, I'm not questioning the legitimacy of any injury involving Cam Newton. But guess what? If you're too hurt and you're going to be ineffective, sit your behind on the bench. Because the fact of the matter is you've been losing week after week after week. We weren't talking about his injury when they were 6-2. We weren't talking about his injury when he went into Pittsburgh after being 6-2 and got railroaded 52-21. So if we're not talking about it then, why are we talking about it now? Let's take this thing into consideration for what it is. I believe that Cam Newton is not 100%. Got me. I'm not denying that. But I think when we talk about Cam Newton, and oh, by the way, you keep bringing up Drew Brees. Ain't nobody absolving Drew Brees. We just didn't get to him yet. So I don't know why you asked that question. Why are we talking about Drew Brees? Because we haven't gotten to that question yet about Drew Brees. When we get to that question, we'll address it. And based on the way they've looked over the last 3 weeks. But here's the deal about Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. You're looking at Cam Newton. You know what I'm thinking about this year? Cam Newton's completing 67% of his passes. Did you know that? 67% of his passes, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Missed various throws yesterday, no question about it. We saw that, and largely due, in all probability, to the fact that his shoulder is just not right. We got that. But guess what? We didn't have that to say about him last year, or the year before that, or the year before that. Now, let's look at some of these numbers, Max. Since 2014, these are Cam Newton's completion percentages. 58.5, 59.8, 52.9, 59.1. Come on now. The fact of the matter is that we have raved about Cam Newton, the athlete. We've raved about the freak of nature that he is as an athletic quarterback. He can run with the football. You can call running plays for him. He can move the chains. We get that. We know he guided them to a Super Bowl, even though that defense had a lot to do with it. That defense in the year they went to the Super Bowl, it looked a lot like that defense last night. Yeah. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is this. We have looked and repeatedly throughout the years. As a matter of fact, if you want me to, I can call up tapes of Max Kellerman talking about how, listen, as an athlete, he's unreal. He's unbelievable. He's a freak of nature. But as an accurate passer,
look at the numbers,
there are questions.
Hold on, wait. He had a good a top QBR until he got hurt.
I'm totally acknowledging that this year, like I said, you're looking at this year. But I said to you, Max Kellerman, you're looking at this year and pointing to his shoulder. I'm looking at a history spanning 5 or 6 years
you know what,
of him not being an accurate passer.
Allow me to quote my late, great brother, Sam.
Please.
The time to criticize the fat person is not when they get back from the gym with the sweaty wristbands. In other words, you want to hold Cam in the past against him this year. We're talking about Cam right now. Cam,
so let me ask you a question. So does he deserve criticism for being on the field then injured? Because clearly injuries, taking a lot of hits is a factor. But then once you're on the field, you can't have those excuses.
Now allow me, Stephen A. said.
Yeah. Now allow me to.
I'm asking.
Allow me to play the race card for a second.
Sure.
I do notice this, and this is anecdotal. I don't have real evidence to prove it, but it does seem to me in the NFL in particular, and I think about T.O. That black athletes who play through injury are oftentimes criticized for playing through injury. And white athletes are usually praised for it.
Without question.
Yeah. And I think that
you're absolutely right.
In fact, we're going to get into what Leroy Butler said about Aaron Rodgers later in the show. And he has told stories about Brett Favre playing totally hurt, and the idea is to lionize Brett Favre, deservedly so. But Cam Newton giving them their best chance to win, because who would you rather play than Cam Newton at the position, being criticized for laboring and not saying anything about it, by the way. It's like the worst kept secret in football the last however many weeks. His shoulder is clearly shot this year. He's not making excuses. Look at him at the post-fight, as the post-game
But you
presser.
didn't really answer the question.
Hold on, yeah, Max, nobody's accusing him of making excuses. Nobody's accused Cam Newton of doing that. We're debating whether or not it's in their best interest to have him out there playing the way that he has been playing.
Who do you want to run out there?
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying we don't know.
Might be better
Max,
off having a backup quarterback if he can't play. It's a shoulder injury.
And what I'm saying to you is, even with your point being valid, I'm like, listen, nobody's knocking Cam for that. I'm simply saying you can make the argument that watching Cam Newton throw the football, it's been an aberration this year, but more over the last 6 weeks, injured, he's looked more like he's looked the previous 5 years, throwing the football, not running with it, not moving the chains, not finding a way to win. But accuracy has been an issue with him throughout these last several years. That's all I'm saying.
Do you believe that the Panthers could have won the Super Bowl this year without Cam Newton on the field?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so since it's not going to be a Super Bowl team anyway unless they start their starter, the question is, why isn't he being praised for playing through an injury without complaint or pointing to the injury?
No. The way you praise him is by not denigrating him. You can't praise a man that's lost 6 in a row.
Therefore,
you can't do that.
Therefore, he deserves a pass.
We're going to have much more on this. We're going to have much more on this. There's
so does he
plenty
deserve
more
a
to
pass,
get
Molly?
into.
Since you brought that up, does he deserve a pass, yes or no?
I just don't think he should be out there. I don't know if it's deserving a pass. He's injured. It's his shoulder. He's a quarterback. I don't think he should be out there.
But the question is...
He's their franchise quarterback.
The question you asked us was, does Cam deserve a pass? If you're saying he shouldn't even been out there...
I don't necessarily think it's on Cam. Then his coaching staff needs to protect him from himself.
That means yes. That means he deserves a pass.
No, I don't think he deserves a pass.